Hey, Anthony Anderson here. So I want to talk about kind of an interesting concept with you. If you haven't really explored much of what we refer to as our team-based model, I want to discuss some of the difference between the way that most financial advisors approach strategic relationships, like a CPA, an enrolled agent, an attorney, looking for referrals, versus the way that we do it in what we refer to as the team-based model, really looking at the value of working with a team of professionals. So work with me here. When you are approaching somebody, and I'm going to specifically refer to CPAs a lot, but it really does apply to a lot of different strategic relationships. Typically what their business model looks like, and this is a good thing to know, whether or not you ever work with us, it doesn't really matter, because this is something that I don't think anybody in financial services really understands and is discussing with them. The way their business model is currently set up is you have, let's say, their clients, and I referenced in another video, but just to reiterate, the AI CPA says CPA specifically, the average CPA has over 500 clients. Okay? So you have the CPA's clients, you have the CPA, and then anytime something comes up with the client, if it's a good CPA, that client is first going to go to the CPA. That's why we refer to them as the go-to professional, right? And it doesn't really matter if it's something like they started a business, they brought on a business partner, they bought out a business partner, and even sometimes like I got married, I got divorced, I had a child. You know, all of their clients will bring these situations to this CPA. The traditional model at looking at how a referral relationship works is this CPA is then going out into the community, and they have dozens of different relationships with different referral partners, and sometimes they even have multiple referral partners all playing the exact same role. So eventually, as a CPA is in business long enough, this gets to be a freaking mess. Can you try to imagine juggling 500 client relationships plus dozens of different referral relationships that these clients really kind of want and expect from a CPA? What would examples of these be? I'm sure you can think of a couple off the top of your head. Obviously, the one that probably comes to mind right away is either somebody that handles clients' AUM or insurance, but those are just two roles. It could be an estate planning attorney. It could be a real estate broker. It could be a qualified plan specialist. It could be tax credit specialist, a cost segregation specialist, business succession planning specialist, ESOP specialist, captive specialist, long-term care specialist, and on and on. And this is an incredible weight for the CPA to have on their shoulders. Then what I want to do is draw out, I'll use a different color. I want to draw out the difference between the referral relationship like this and more of a team-based model. So we're going to start with basically things looking the same. Let's assume the client has the same 500 plus clients. Now, a little secret, when you do start to build relationships with CPAs, what you're going to help them actually do is not get more clients, but actually get rid of some clients. Whether they bring on junior partners or they sell the lower half of their book, we ultimately really want to reduce that from 500 to, let's say, 50, because we're going to deliver dramatically more value to the 50 clients. But let's just, for illustration purposes, assume everything up here is the same. So 500 plus clients, right? And they're all still going to this CPA with all of their needs, their wants, their desires, their fears, their concerns, got married, had a child, bought a business, sold a business, whatever is going on here. But rather than the CPA having to juggle these dozens of different relationships, they form one relationship. And we'll say that's with what we refer to as a team-based model consultant. A team-based model consultant. So now what is happening is the client is leveraging their relationship with the CPA. The CPA is then leveraging their relationship with a team-based model consultant. If you want to know how this plays out in actuality day to day, have you ever sat down with a wealthy client and put together a great financial plan for them, and then they say, yeah, this looks wonderful, but let me run this by my CPA? That's exactly what's happening behind the scenes, is the client's going from the conversation to you, bringing it to the CPA. Now, unfortunately for you, you don't know if the CPA has another financial planner in here that they're going to bring in, insert, take the client from you, and you lose the business, or maybe not. But either way, it's a crapshoot. So what we're doing here is we're forming the relationship with the CPA. Doesn't matter what the situation is that the client is bringing to the CPA. It could be within your area of expertise, financial planning, AUM, insurance, whatever that might be currently. But it's very likely that there are situations that their clients have that are outside of your expertise. So now the difference is you become their go-to person. So the CPA is the go-to person for their clients. You are the go-to person for the CPA. Does this really make sense for you? Are you just kind of taking the burden of the CPA and shifting it onto your own shoulders? No, you shouldn't. Ideally not. Ideally what you have is a relationship with other specialists that can help juggle these responsibilities for you, or a group that has already built these responsibilities or these relationships for you. But either way, by you becoming the go-to person for the CPA, you're now the one that's having the first look at all of the opportunities. So next time the client inherits $500,000 from a parent passing away, it's in a Vanguard account, they bring it to their CPA brings that to you and says, is there anything we can do with that? Well, matter of fact, yes, there's something that I can do with that. Or the client goes to the CPA and says, you know what, I'm thinking about selling my business in the next 2 years. Is there anything that you can help me with? The CPA, rather than referring that out to their succession planning specialist, they bring it to you. You work with your team of specialists. You sit down with your succession planning specialists and you say, well, matter of fact, yeah, there are some things that we can do with that. You and the succession planning specialists and the CPA then work together as a team to bring the best solution to that client. And when the succession planning specialist helps the client sell the business, who do you think naturally gets to manage the money? Or who do you think naturally gets to insure the seller or the buyer in case something happens to the buyer while they're buying out the client? You know, there's a million opportunities that are created here. But the key of this whole model exists in the fact that you want to become the go-to professional for the CPA, who is already the go-to professional for their clients. Now, can you see why it makes sense to have 50 clients rather than 500 clients when we can bring all of this value to these clients? And if you were a CPA, I would suggest asking yourself, which model is more attractive to you? If you sat down with just another insurance person or another AUM person and they promise to bring you referrals, but it just gets caught in this cloud of noise, or you sit down with somebody who understands the way your business is, the inefficiencies of this model, and is willing to be this point person for you. Now, obviously, there has to be trust and a relationship here, but once that is built and you become the go-to person, what you're doing is you're allowing the CPA to be incredibly more efficient with their clients, bring more value to their clients, and allowing you to be the quarterback position, which is very, very powerful as long as you are working with the right type of CPA. So I hope that was just helpful to kind of understand, you know, some of the inefficiencies within the referral model, why it makes sense to look at more of a team-based model. And we'd be happy to discuss all of this with you in more detail. Go ahead and schedule a 45-minute strategy session with us by clicking the link below. We look forward to discussing with you.